Okay, we already covered this array in the previous chapter, but this is a more detailed one here. Each variable in any array, we call it element, and index means just identifying number of that each variable or the element. And there are two types of array. One is fixed size, usually we use this one, and the dynamic array, it change the size. Okay? And this is typical way to define the arrays, one dimension, two dimension, and we already check if it's 10, then actually there are 11 elements are possible because it always starts from a 0. But if you really want to force them to start at 1 as an index number, then you should put this one before the subroutine, right? We already have that one. But this is more handy because sometimes we want let the index start from certain number, not always 0 or 1. Then this is the way we can define it, right? So this is initial index, and that's going to be ending index. Okay, so it's going to be very handy by then. Okay, then in here, this is just practice for that array. So let me copy and paste here, and let me run. And what's going to happen? So now dimension, this is a variable a, right? It can be just anything, right? And a day of week, okay, that is another kind of the variable for the string, right? Because of that, and it comes with 7, so we're expecting starting from 0 to 7, so expecting 8 elements in there, but no one says you have to use each of these index, right, or the elements. It's up to you. So right now this one handles the 7 of them, right, starting from 1 to 7, and for that variable it's just a variable for this for next routine, right? So a is from 1 to 7, and message box shows each days, right, like that. So it's just doing one by one. Okay, so let's see what happens. First one is Monday, Tuesday, and whenever you click it, it goes down. Okay, so we know what this one do. Now let's look at the second, the two dimensions array. So this is example, and let me open one of the module and paste. At this moment we have 1, 2, 3, 4 variables, and the last one is two-dimensional array, and using this C and R, it should be the meaning is column and row, right? So the column actually moves from 1 to 3, and the row moves 1 to 3. Okay, and counter is the third one, the last variable, and counter is counter plus 1. And this one, in this matrix, it always contains the values of R and C, and the value in there must be the counter, and we just increase R and C, okay, one by one. So I suspect there are 9 routines for this all together, right? Okay, but anyway, let's run this. And of course the Visual Basic program did something, but there's nothing it can show us because we don't put any message box or whatsoever. Okay, but you can imagine what's going to happen in there, right? So anyway, this is just the example of using this two-dimensional array. So now if you want to really see what happens in there, then this is one way you can check by yourself, right? And this is very handy if you know how to do that. So let's just put the message box in there. Okay, so I already made that one. So message box and showing that, right, whatever it is. Okay, and this one happens for every routine part, right? So let me run this. first one, yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, and if it's up to 9, because there are only 3 by 3 cases, just finish all these routine steps, right? So when you see this, counter is actually adding 1 to itself, and we didn't have any initiating the value of this. The meaning is it's 0, right? Okay, so because, or you can think that is empty, right? Nothing in there, and just adding 1 there. So the first value for counter is 1, right? Then after that, then 1 is increased by 1, so it's 2, like that. Okay, so this is one way you can do that. But if you really want to see just the results, then maybe you don't need this, because the values for this variable is counter, right? So instead of this, actually you can use this one too. So let me do this way. Let me make a copy for this much, and let me hide this one, just using apostrophe. And instead of a matrix, let me use counter. Can you see that, right? So previously we saw this one in the message box, but now I want to see that, and let's see whether there is any difference. Nothing, because it's exactly the same, right? So it's up to you how you want to do that, right? So at this moment, if you want to use this, it's on this for routines is only let it run 9 times, nothing else, right? But if you want to handle some two-dimensional arrays, then this is very handy by that way. Okay, so it's totally up to you. I want to use it.